Police departments across the U.S. are struggling to recruit and retain officers. And now some departments are hoping to tap into a new pool of recruits that's never been available before. New laws in Colorado and California clearing the way for DACA recipients to serve in law enforcement. Let's see what you think about this one. Now, DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. That program was created to protect young people brought to the United States illegally as children from deportation. It also provides them with temporary work authorization. DHS data estimates there are roughly 580,000 DACA recipients from close to 200 countries living all over the U.S. Let's bring in NewsNation legal contributor and Law and Crime Network reporter Jesse Weber. Jesse, always good to see you. California and Colorado passed laws allowing non-citizens who are authorized to work in the U.S. to become police officers. New Jersey, Illinois, Wisconsin, just a few of the states trying to pass similar legislation. And as you know, critics have said this is about a larger principle here, that a non-citizen shouldn't be allowed to arrest a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. Is there any legal validity to that argument?
Well, I think there's the legal argument and then there's the practical argument, right? So the practical reality is we have a serious problem with recruitment in law enforcement and the military. Now, DACA recipients, they're already authorized to work and they're already in the military. So you would think a natural extension would be law enforcement. Now, them saying that only United States citizens should have the right to carry a firearm or have the right to arrest someone completely ignores the recruitment process. Just because DACA recipients would be allowed to be work as law enforcement, that doesn't mean that they automatically become officers. There's still testing, psychological exams, drug testing. And so what you have to understand is this just opens the opportunity for more people to join law enforcement. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be enlisted. Okay. And so I think they have a really weak argument.
Yeah. And to your point, you just brought it up briefly. There's also the big firearm component to this conversation, right? I mean, Colorado changed its law, which said DACA recipients previously could not legally carry firearms. Kind of similar question. Is there any legal argument to support that only U.S. citizens should be allowed to carry weapons, or no?
Maybe if this was 20 years ago, but the reality that we live in right now, they have a right to. If they are a DACA recipient, if they are authorized to work and they still have to go through all of the steps, all of the grounds, all of the testing to be able to carry a firearm and serve in law enforcement, why should they be denied? I think it's going to be a really tough legal and political argument to make for people who oppose this, because, again, it just seems that you're denying them the right to be a part and protect and serve because of, other kinds of motivations.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to, I thought it was interesting. I saw the Colorado Springs chief of police speaking out in support of this. I believe he immigrated from Cuba, if I'm not mistaken. But his department has 71 positions available. You hear that number, you have to think to yourself, well, which is the bigger legal issue here? Is it leaving that law enforcement void empty, or is it filling some of these positions with non-citizens? I mean, kind of to your point, but, how do you answer that for folks?
Well, I think the past few years have kind of answered that question. There was a serious anti-police sentiment. It started during the pandemic. And what I think the end result is when you have a lack of law enforcement in your area, there's an increase in crime. So it becomes a question of, what do you want to do? What's the answer? And that practical reality is going to be a problem, because if you have people who are willing to fill those spots and meet the qualifications, why deny them? That's the point that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, certainly a new and interesting approach here. We'll see which states kind of adopt it and move forward, I guess. Jesse Weber, thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.